Good evening, I'm Aditi Lama with the Thursday South Asian News segment on Vision of Asia. Much is happening across the diaspora while we wrap up a week which discussed much on South Asian political, social and cultural ideologies and expressions. Bringing much attention to the current issues and your voices, we again urge all South Asian organizations and personalities to reach us with your stories and more on events at itvgold.com. Also, wrapping up the week, again, our wishes go out to the entire state of Alabama, currently recovering from the tragic tornadoes. Condolences for the Lee County, where reported the deaths of 23 people and injuries of at least 100. In the days since, survivors have been picking through their pieces of their homes, recovering what they can. We'd like to reach out to all organizations associated in Alabama to send us your information on rescue efforts and relief donations for us to share on ITV Gold. With that, let's begin tonight's episode taking a look at the headlines. EROS now premieres new series Metropark starring Vaidya at the New York Stock Exchange. South Asian Studies Association hosts SASA 2019 conference at the Claremont McKenna College in California. Vivek Patel Facebook fundraiser collects over $1 million ITV Gold Skype special. Time for a short break on Vision of Asia, Voice of the Community. We'll be right back. Welcome again, I'm Aditi Lama and you are watching Vision of Asia South Asian News segment. Starting the show today in New York City, Indian-American actor and Bollywood movie 3 Idiots fame Vaidya rang the opening bell at the New York Stock Exchange at premiere of the new series Metropark hosted by EROS Now. Directed by Indian-American Abhi Varghese, Metropark also stars Bollywood actors Ranveer Shori and Purbi Joshi in a series which explores the life and experiences of an immigrant Gujarati family based in New Jersey. Bringing to the medium one of the first series on a very relatable Indian-American life in the much Indian-concentrated area of New Jersey, the series addresses deep-rooted Indian cultural habits in a comedic tone and shows how these habits and cultures often collide in the Western world in 9 episodes. Let's take a look at some highlights from the recent event, which also featured exclusive screenings of 2 of the episodes and also saw in attendance Group CFO and President from EROS International North America.
Metropark is a new sitcom that's coming out on EROS now. It's a family sitcom about a Gujarati family living in New Jersey, and it's one of the first sitcoms that is coming out in Hindi this year as well.
So, what do you expect from these American viewers?
I think the main purpose of the show is to entertain. So I think people could really relate to the characters because, especially if you're living abroad, the little situations, the family dynamics, the cultural differences, all that plays in the role of this series. It's a comedy, so it's basically a comedy.
Anything you would like to say to our viewers?
I think just watch the show. I think you guys will really enjoy it. So I'm looking forward to the responses.
This show, Metropark, is about what happens when an Indian family moves to America and they're assimilating, but at the same time they live within an Indian community and how they continue to keep their culture.
And I think it rings true throughout the world also because the people in 2 generations, they have different outlooks and so that's something which is very common and that's what Metropark talks about. So.
Yeah, so I just hope you enjoyed this half-hour episodic 10-part series and we get to do a second one. That would be really nice.
शो के बारे में कुछ बताएंगे आप?
शो के बारे में it's about a family that lives in New Jersey, Edison, New Jersey. The culture is both Indian and American, so वो clash होता है. That's very comedic, उसमें बहुत comedy होता है.
Is it comedy or funny or drama or what?
Mostly comedy, but थोड़ा सा drama इधर उधर, but mostly it's about fun, about families, interpersonal, all that stuff.
So people like to see you as a comedian because of your background.
You know, it's just I have a natural, मेरे पास वो natural, I don't know. There's something inside of me that is very, very. It's fun to laugh. You know, it's easy to laugh.
इवन न्यूयॉर्क में आपके चाहने वाले बहुत हैं, आपके फैंस बहुत हैं. आप बॉलीवुड को ज़्यादा प्रेफर करेंगे या हॉलीवुड को ज़्यादा?
Yeah, but there's just a lot of worth in both of them, and you know, why pick one? Both have value, and ये अलग ही है वो उसमें हॉलीवुड और बॉलीवुड में दोनों बीच में वो होता है ये इसमें है.
मैंने सुना आप गुजराती भी बोलते हैं.
गुजराती थोड़ा बहुत, you know, just like you know, I have just a couple phrases. मारी पत्नी गुजराती छे, you know, मारी मुझे गुजराती बहुत गमे छे. That one, people like that one. But like chora fali fafda, that's my thing. All right, that's very Gujarati.
We're proud today to be at the New York Stock Exchange to do the bell ringing to premiere our original series, Metropark, on EROS Now, which is on our OTT platform. Metropark is a comedic series about a Gujarati family based in New Jersey. And it has good family values, but it also has very good comedic value. And we think this is, again, another original content in our EROS Now platform that now consists of over 12,000 films, as well as original series, including Metropark, Smoke, Side Hero, and then we have our quickies, like First Date Gone Wrong. And so we're excited about all our content on EROS Now. And so we ask that people subscribe to EROS Now. They can do it on their actual iPhone or on their Samsung phone or whatever phone they have, or they can go on their computers and get it, or you can obviously get it through the different cable and satellite services.
Let's now take a look at California for a special report. Recently, the Claremont McKenna College hosted the 2019 SASA conference brought together by the South Asian Students Association, a 13-year-old alliance of scholars as well as leaders of academia, business, NGOs, and philanthropy spotlighting South Asia. The conference brought together a theme of taking South Asia to the world, featuring eminent scholars, sessions, an interactive platform to provide the students and others in attendance a greater look at South Asia's progress and more in terms of culture, history, education, innovation, and much more. Also, the conference saw a presentation of SASA's prestigious annual exemplary awards made to 3 individuals representing academic achievement, business leadership, and community service. This year, we were proud to announce that ITV Gold Parikh Worldwide Media's chairman, Padma Shri Dr. Sudeep Parikh, was presented the 2019 Exemplary Award for Community Service. Let's take a look at some highlights coming in from California.
So I'm part of the SASA organization. Basically, it's a research papers. People are doing a lot of research, bringing a lot of new things, new findings. So it's basically for me, it's like a kind of an exchange of knowledge in different areas. So we know only one areas, but then there are scholars from all the sectors. This is basically kind of a prototype for anything to happen in the society. These are all the scholars come from different part of the world. They share their findings. They share their unique way of doing things. And that's where we can take those things back in the field, in the society, and apply some of those things. Like one gentleman from Nepal, he shared how to climb the mountains for the handicapped people. So they built kind of a trail for the wheelchairs. And some of the people's ideas are dream to, okay, I need to do a trekking in Nepal on the mountains, on the wheelchair. So those are some of the unique ideas people brought on the table here.
First of all, just to the point about outside of India, this is a global phenomenon. This is in Latin America and Africa in the same way it is in India, and the same way it is across all of Southeast Asia. A big focus for our company beyond India is the rest of Southeast Asia. We actually have local language programming that we create with a company called iFlix in Bahasa in Indonesia, and Malay in Malaysia, and in Tagalog in the Philippines. We're looking at launching much more pronounced versions of the channel in Thailand and Vietnam, et cetera, et cetera. So the phenomenon of looking at pictures, families, social, everything that we're talking about up here, honestly, I would say is not unique to India. What's unique to India is really two things for me. One is just the sheer size and scope of the economy, although that gets misunderstood by Westerners in a huge way as well, because I don't think an average person in the West realizes the diversity of language and culture that exists. You know, they just think India is one thing that, you know, serves one type of food and speaks one language, which of course we all know is not the case. So, but the point being that this is a global phenomenon, and Asia and Southeast Asia. I mean, what's going on in Indonesia right now is the same sort of spectacular phenomenon around mobile video, et cetera.
I'm a doctoral student at St. John's University, and I am studying world history, and I'm here to present on my research on the textiles in Gujarat. And I'm really happy to be here. It's a really good discussion. And it's great to meet like-minded people and discuss lots of future opportunities and current history information.
Boston Consulting Group just came out with a report a few months ago predicting that in the next 5 years, the OTT content platform is going to be in India, it's going to be reaching, what, $5 billion there. Talking a little bit about sort of, okay, where does this money come from? What are the various business models associated there? I mean, in the OTT, there are sort of the three primary forms of how you make money. And so one is sort of the advertising-based supported model, very much like YouTube and so on. And second is sort of subscription-based, so the Netflixes and Amazon Prime. And similarly in India, there are a whole bunch of others there. And then the third is sort of transaction-based. So you actually, like Apple TV, you might go rent a movie or a TV show on a per video transaction side of things. Today, the vast majority of the content consumption is purely on the free or advertising-supported basis. And I think a lot of it is that India is a very, very price-conscious or price-sensitive sort of model. The market, I mean.
Greetings, John Ferranda here. I'm at the South Asia Studies Conference, which is being held at Claremont McKenna College this year. It's just a proof that Claremont welcomes the world. We have all sorts of scholars and students from around the globe who are here talking about the culture and political issues and economy and education of South Asia. It's been very interesting, and I'm really looking forward to some more panels this afternoon. So thank you for joining us.
And it's time for the show break. Stay with us in Vision of Asia, Voice of the Community. We'll be right back. And welcome back. You are watching Vision of Asia, South Asian News segment. Concluding the show tonight, we now have an exclusive report and a grand contribution of the Indian American community responding to the aftermath of the tragic Pulwama attack on Indian military forces in Kashmir. Post the terrorist attack, the last few weeks have seen a huge movement of supporting the Indian Jawans and giving back to the ones protecting our borders in India, a huge visible sign of solidarity in the time of tensions between India and Pakistan. Giving back to the Indian soldiers, the Martyrs of the Nation, Indian American Vivek Patel from Virginia, ran a Facebook fundraising campaign which successfully raised over $1 million for the Martyrs of Pulwama attack, currently in the process of sending the money to India via the help of Indian consulates and more. We spoke to Vivek Patel on the benevolent effort as well as the grand contribution of Indian Americans. We bring you tonight a Skype interview featuring Vivek Patel. You know, starting off this interview with you, I would really like for you to talk about what inspired you to create this huge Facebook fundraiser. There were a few particular reasons you had when you began this, Vivek. And you know, someone your age, you're so young. What did that incident make you feel?
The first of all thing is that basically we are Indian at the end of the day, wherever we are like living or whatever we are doing.
Right.
Other thing is that as a child, I wanted to join Indian Army, and actually I got an opportunity in Indian Army SSB interview when I was in my last year of undergrad.
Right.
And that time, it wasn't a good time to go to an army because I wanted to pursue a higher education in USA.
Right.
So I came to over here, but that love to our country, that love to our army, it was somewhere in my heart. And I saw this Pulwama attack, and our martyrs family and need our support and help from our side. There was I was searching through internet, and I got to this Bharat Ki Veer
Yes.
Indian site, and
Yes.
I was trying to just donate from my part. I never donated to this kind of cause before that, so I wanted to do it first. And I saw that they were asking me for my Indian PAN card, so it wasn't handy that time with me. So it was a little difficult for me. It's kind of challenge for me. So I searched for the other medium, like any other fundraiser going on any other website or even on Facebook, so I can donate it. But I saw that there is no particular fundraiser or no particular non-profit or any NGO working towards this cause. So I started my own fundraiser, and there was no NGO, so I started as a personal fundraiser on Facebook. And my initial goal was $25,000 in 14 days. But with my surprise, I just got like 25,000 in within 2 hours with support of our Indian NRI community over here.
Right.
So it's kind of an initiative I started through the Facebook for our Indian soldiers.
Right. Vivek, when you started thinking about this idea, I know you said that you didn't realize how huge it will get. And, you started with a whole need for $25,000, which now is over $1 million here. Talking about this, when the Indian consulate got involved, and now that there have been connections made to the Indian government, and there is a transaction process that we are looking at, how was that, experience for you, Vivek? And give us an insight into exactly what is happening with that money and what has been said by the Indian consulate.
Sure. So first of all, thing that Indian consulate got into a picture when we crossed almost $500,000 in 2 days.
Right.
So we need like the proper government authority who can take over of this fund, because I don't want any fund to hit my personal account.
Right.
So because there are like some security issues with the personal accounts and everything. So that's why I wanted Indian government or any official from Indian government to be a part of this fundraiser and who can take over of this huge fund.
Right.
So we tried to get in touch with different consulates, Chicago, Washington, D.C., Atlanta, and New York City. But New York City were like the fastest one, and they reached us to within like an hour or something that they can talk about this and they can guide us to transfer this money to India.
Right.
So basically, they provided us great support, great help, and the guidance to send this money to a proper end. And when we started about this fundraiser, we never thought about that we're going to reach this huge milestone within a few days.
Right.
But we achieved it, and that's what we wanted to make sure, that this money is going to a proper hand, to a proper destination. And that's why we needed support from U.S. side Indian government as well as Indian government in India. So that's what we started engaging everybody to this particular fundraiser.
And Vivek, you also met up with Consul General Sandeep Chakravarti, and there were discussions you had with him, and he has been a huge part of this movement, really empowering Indians abroad, NRIs, PIOs, OCI holders to really contribute for this effort. What did you have to say about the Consul General, and what do you have to say about how the Indian government is currently helping these soldiers and has helped you provide more for the soldiers?
Well, about my personal experience with the Indian Consulate General in New York City was definitely a great experience. They were they met us within a short time of period.
Right.
I just sent him an email within a day, and they replied back that they are willing to meet us within a day. So it was like a great response. They do know about sensitivity of this particular issue, and they were really quick. They provided us all the guidance and support to transfer this fund. But main problem, not the main problem, but the main concern was that we wanted to make sure that this money is going as fast as possible to the Indian government,
Right.
basically a Bharat Ke Veer. And I have no doubt that our Indian government is not doing anything for our Indian army or their families.
Right.
They are doing everything in their way possible. They are doing their best. And I think within the last 2 or 3 years, they are doing their best to our Indian army, and they can support their families as well. They are starting different programs, different fundraiser and
Right.
everything. So it's a great kind of support from our government as well.
And what do you think that what is your take on how the Indian community is handling it here? And perhaps if you wanted to give a voice or an advice to the Indian community on this issue right now, what would you say to them?
As per my first experience with this fundraiser, many people were having trust issues first
Right.
thing because it's on social media, and it's about the money you are donating about it. Some people donated from the $5 to the $2,500 in this donation. So they have a right to ask us question about it. So, and they were right on their place that they should ask the question that where this money is going and how much time is going to needed for this transparency or the transfer of the money.
Right.
So Indian NRI community provided us great support, help, and the trust in saying to make this fundraiser to achieve this huge success and the goal.
Right.
So I thank you, our Indian NRI community, especially our silent donor who just donated it, never asked any question or never did any comments on the fundraiser, but they trusted us.
Right.
So thank you so much, everyone, to be a part of this. And I don't have any advice for our community, but I just have one request that if there is any cause, this kind of cause in the future, please do support your Indian army and their families or any armed forces because they are over there for you. So please do support. You can ask questions as many as you want, but please do your part because they are doing their part. Thank you for that.
It's now time for the community update for today. New Bollywood movie Luka Chupi has released in the nearest theatre around you. Directed by Lakshman Uttekar and produced by Dinesh Vision, Luka Chupi stars Karthik Aryan and Kriti Senon, telling the story of a television reporter who cohabits with a headstrong woman.
गुड्डू शादी कैसे करनी है?
गुड्डू को ना पता कैसे करनी शादी। गुड्डू तो इतना उतावला हो गया ना कि अगर जहाँ कोई हवन और मंत्र पढ़ने वाला मिल जाए ना तो यहीं कर ले शादी।
सर्वमंगल मांगल्ये नारायणी नमोस्तुते।
वो ना मेरे मोबाइल का डाटा खत्म हो गया।
And that is all for tonight's segment of South Asian Happenings. Send us your suggestions to get your voices and organizations on our show. Write to us on events@itvgold.com or follow us on Facebook @itvgold. You can also now subscribe to our YouTube channel to watch many of our popular shows for free. Remember to tune in this Sunday at 11 a.m. Eastern to watch our topics of the week. Thank you for joining us tonight. This is Vision of Asia and I'm Aditi Lamba. Take care and be well.